All right, we're back in the saddle here. Now we're turning back again to the south. Here you can see the beauty of the Palisades, just the gorgeous height. You can see where we are in terms of spring. You can still see there's plugs of ice on the side of the cliffs where water comes down. There's actually a couple beautiful sets of falls up ahead. One where there's actually a historical marker. Very loud beside the highway here. And there's one further to the south, a place called Gorge Creek. All right, so it turns out we did miss the flanger sign here. Not sure how I didn't see it, lying here right beside the grade. So crossing is just up there. And so here you can see the sign. Again, sometimes it's very, very easy to miss things. I think I was probably looking more on the north side of the grade for this. But just keeping with our collection of finding a lot of signs today. And so not necessarily here, but further to the south by McCollum's, where that first waterfall is, people do rock climbing in the summer, and then in the winter. Just checking out to see if there's a flanger sign kicking around here, because we do have a crossing right here. I wonder if this is, no, that looks like just a piece of board. I was wondering if there was a sign for the level for the crossing here. Just trying to keep my eye out for that flanger sign. Sometimes if they're in the trees, forget about seeing it. Again, you can see how just unbelievably loud it is beside the highway here. This is Highway 11, which is part of the Trans-Canada Highway. It's the quote-unquote northern route, because further to the south of us in Nipigon, the highway splits, and Highway 17 follows the lake, Lake Superior, to Sault Ste. Marie, and then eventually Toronto. And this highway basically goes further to the north, and then eventually comes back down by North Bay, which is close to Toronto. This is the route that's favored by the truckers because it's longer, but it's flatter. And so there's tons and tons of transport traffic on here. Lots of bases for telegraph poles. So here we're coming in through a little cut. And so around here somewhere, if it's still here, should be the Milepost 92 marker. Keeping my eyes open here if I see it. You see little white things and then you're like, oh, that's it, but it's not. It's a piece of bark or a bag of chips. So here you can see all these logs and debris that have been thrown up on the shore. Okay, let's resume our journey here. So we do have something neat. I dropped the bike and I started looking for that milepost marker, and guess what? I found it. I know some people are like, you find a milepost marker. Good for you. So walking along the shore here, I noticed the back end of it sticking out of the water, and I dragged it out of the water. And so it's probably been sitting there for at least 10 years. So there's the milepost 92 marker again. This is why we have trouble finding some of these things, because oftentimes they were just pulled up and chucked. So sometimes they're in the bush, they're down the side of embankments, they're buried under ballast. So this is the challenge that we have trying to locate that. So again, milepost 92, so that is the mileage on the Kinghorn. And so for the original lines, we need to subtract 49.7 because those lines started in Jellicoe, not Long Lac. And so that becomes milepost 42.3. Okay, so let's resume our journey here. And so you can see the beaver's been hard at work. Again, you can hear all the traffic on the highway. So we do have a little bit of a buffer here because there's a bit of an embankment. So when they built, the railway was built first. The highway wasn't built until the 1940s. And so you can imagine that they didn't really have a lot of options through this area. So you can see that side, even building the railway, that side is just sheer cliff. And then so the railway was built here, and the highway essentially had to sandwich itself between the grade and the cliffs of the Palisades. Ballast is bad. So coming up to another cut here, so I'm going to zip you ahead a little bit. Sorry, I lied. So here it looks like you can see a bunch of logs are piled up. I don't know if those were piled up on purpose or if those washed ashore. You can see they're all notched. They look like poles that were used for construction or something. Here there's a tie still in place. And so here, if you click on there's going to be a link in the description. If you click on that link, you'll actually be able to see a 2009 Google Streetview. And so you'll actually be able to see the area with the rails still in place. So remember, the rails weren't removed here until 2010. So there is a culvert here, but I don't see the marker. Sometimes they hide. Usually they're green or white, but I don't see it. So again, make sure you check out that link and have a look at the this spot here, and you can see the rails very, very clearly. As well, we're coming up to a place called Cove Inlet. And so if you click on the link to go see Cove Inlet, you're actually going to see a bunch of old pictures that I was able to get my hands on. And so this was obviously a very popular spot to photograph for some reason. There was, we're going to talk more about what was happening at Cove Inlet, but there's a bunch of pictures taken. It kind of makes a point here. You see there's a piece of tie here. Makes kind of a point, and then so the photographs are taken from the point they're looking back this way, and you can see the railway tracks, you can see the highway, you can see the Palisades, and there's a bunch of them. So obviously this was something that, you know, was worth photographing, I guess. And so here we have another culvert. I don't see a marker on here. It looks like it's been repaired. A different colored ballast in here. So maybe because of it coming off the highway, it washed out here at some point. And probably, oh, look at the bones here. This is probably a moose. Probably got hit crossing the highway. And this is what's left of the carcass here. There's bones all over the place. Luna, yeah, that's a big bone, Luna. Actually, yesterday I just saw a moose that had been killed by the side of the highway. Very, very unfortunate. All right, so we've made our way down here below the grade. We're probably about, I don't know, 10 feet down or so. So very, very unusual site here. I was here yesterday and I came down here because I was looking, because according to my map, there's supposed to be a box culvert, a wooden box culvert in here, but this is what I found. So obviously there's, oops, I stood on a rock here and I almost killed myself. Obviously there was erosion issues, so what they did, and I've never seen this before, is you can see they've placed old ties, and you can see they're old ties because they still have, some of them still have spikes in them. So they've placed old ties underneath here to basically hold everything back and keep everything from eroding. So you can see both of these ones have spikes in them. Again, I've never seen that before. I've seen corduroying on logging railroads or logging railways. So for example, the Gunflint and Lake Superior, I've seen sections where they've corduroyed instead of using rock fill, which is a very expedited way of doing things. But I mean, this is a pretty substantial railway line, and for them to do something like this, I mean, again, just kind of the nature of this line, kind of just very expedited type of repairs that they make here and there. Okay, so we're gonna hop back up on the grade. We're just at Cove Inlet right here.